Hello everybody, I'm going to be creating this card for you today and I'm going to be using the Arteza cold press watercolor paper. It comes with 32 sheets, it's acid free and it is cold press and it is 140 pound. It is 9 inches by 12 inches and it does have a little bit of texture. But Arteza sent this to me to review, and so I'm going to be using it on a card which I would use watercolor for anyways. I am not a watercolorist or a painter, so this is how I would use watercolor paper. So I am going to be giving you my honest review at the end of the video, so make sure you stay around for that. And now I'm going to get into how I created the card. So I am using the Tim Holtz stamp platform for this, and that is because I'm going to be using VersaMark ink, and I like to stamp the images twice. That way I know for sure I'm getting the image, on there, because the watercolor paper will absorb a little bit of that VersaMark ink. So I want to make sure that the image is nice and crisp on there. So I go once, and what's nice about the stamp platform is you don't have to kind of guess if you're going to get it right or anything like that. You keep the stamps in the same position and the paper, and then you just ink it up again and stamp it again. And it, most of the time, 99% of the time, it is perfect. It does depend on, there's been a few times where I have moved the paper on accident and I don't realize it, but if it's done right, it definitely is a great tool to have. So I'm using gold embossing powder. It is super fine embossing powder from Ranger. I love this stuff, especially for flowers and sentiments that are very, that have a lot of intricate lines and detail. And the stamp set I'm using is from Avery, I believe. It's hand-drawn florals. And I'm also going to be using the Arteza watercolor, what are they called? The real brush pens. I had them right here. And I do love these a lot. I do have the zig markers as well, but I love these just as much as the zigs. So what I do is I take the watercolor brush and I lay down a little bit of water, and then I'll go in with the color. That way it kind of spreads out a little bit and it kind of does a little bit of the work for me. But I do have to continue to kind of get that color up to the tip again. So I just brush it onto the side, and that's normal because they are water-based, so it does water down the brush of the pen. I do only work on 1 or 2 petals at a time. That way I can get that nice gradient of color and shadows, and I'm not the greatest colorer. I don't know what the colorist, I think, is the right word, maybe. But I do have fun and I do love the end result. So, and honestly, what helps me is using embossing powder, whether it's black, white, gold, whatever color. It helps me stay in the lines, and it helps me kind of define those petals or whatever other image I'm using. So I'm just going in with the color, then I'll go back in with the watercolor brush, and I'm just going to continue to do this. And I do have other videos that go into more depth of how I color, and it kind of explains a little bit better of the process. So be sure to check out my channel if you are wanting to see those videos. I am going to be back after I finish coloring these flowers. isn't going to bore you with coloring every single flower, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how I color them. And again, be sure to check out the other videos on my channel. I am taking a wood veneer piece from Altenew. It does have adhesive on the back and it's very sticky, so I wanted to give this a try and it actually worked. I just put the embossing powder over it and heat embossed it, and it worked perfectly fine, and I didn't have to use VersaMark ink. And now I'm going in with a card panel with some Distress Oxide ink and this Tonic Studios stencil, just giving the background a little bit of interest and color. And you could see here, really nice. And I did use the Avery Elle Wonky stitched die to cut out that card panel. And now I did have a different card that it was already finished, and then I decided that I didn't like it. So you could see it in, you know, the upper left hand corner there. I did change my mind, so I'm just taking everything off and putting it on to the new card panel. Now I'm using this double-sided adhesive from scrapbook.com. I love this stuff and it is often on sale, so be sure to make sure that you head on over there and check it out. I know that I'm a little off camera, but I did want to make sure that you guys knew about this double adhesive. There is sheets of it. There is like a 6-inch roll. There's 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, quite a few. So and it's very sticky. It works really nice. So I'm just putting that card panel onto the card base. Now I am splattering the card with some gold watercolor, which I end up deciding that it's not as shimmery as I would like. After I adhere this Dream Big Kaisercraft wood veneer piece to the card, I go in with the metallic accents from Prima, which added the perfect gold shimmery touch that I wanted. And real quick, I did emboss the Dream Big with some white embossing powder. And you could see here that I'm going to be using the metallic accents from Prima. My battery died and I wasn't able to show you the guys the splatters, which I apologize, I didn't realize it died. But that is going to complete the card. And overall, I really love the watercolor paper. It's nice and thick. It does have quite a bit of texture, so if you're stamping on it, you're definitely going to need to stamp a couple times, 2 or 3 times, depending on what ink you're using. But overall, it is great and I do recommend it. All of the links will be down below, so be sure to check it out. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye!